Guys, welcome back to the Otaku Brothers podcast. Yeah, I know it's been a minute. Me and Ben were busy back at college, but now we are back and we're ready to get back onto that YouTube grind. But more information on that towards the end of the video. But today, as you could tell from the title, we're going to be talking about Stone Ocean and why particularly I am fearful for the release of Steel Ball Run and how Netflix might have messed up kind of the hype of JoJo's all around. So let's get right into the video. So the reason that I ended up wanting to make this video in the first place was for multiple reasons. One, because a YouTuber by the name of Xforts, who if y'all do not know, go check him out, link in the description down below, an awesome dude, just recently made a video talking about Stone Ocean and the reasons for it getting the reception that it did. And now a lot of reasons are for different reasons, but for the most part it was mostly due to Netflix's release schedule and all of that goodness of that. It's not really good. It was actually really bad. Yeah, and another reason that I decided to make this was because I had recently, a while back, finished Steel Ball Run, and it is definitely one of my new favorite parts of JoJo's. It is amazing. I got this Japanese copy. I've shown it before on the podcast, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then another reason is because I just recently, right actually before I hit record on this, bought the JoJo 6251 art book that's now going to be available by Viz. Yeah, so it comes out, I believe, next Wednesday or Thursday. So yeah, I'll definitely be making a video on that. But yeah, but this video is just going to be talking about the kind of hiccups and everything about Stone Ocean. And it was kind of sad to me. Personally, I am a big fan of Stone Ocean. I read the manga. It's actually the first JoJo manga part that I read. And I absolutely loved it. I thought the pacing was okay. At times it was a bit slower, but I liked the, back in America, back in a prison, just kind of the grittier tone that it was going for, and the new lead of a female protagonist was very interesting and a lot of fun. And I was very, very excited to see it animated. I think Weather Report's one of the coolest side characters. Emporio, Anasui, Hermes, all such a great side cast. Foo Fighters is amazing. And then Pucci being an awesome villain with very deep layers, I think is very interesting as well to analyze. But it's just everything that happened with Stone Ocean due to Netflix's purchasing of this franchise kind of put a hole in it. And I'm going to kind of go in depth on why Netflix needs to learn from this mistake if they do plan on getting a Steel Ball Run adaptation, because I would be very worried if Steel Ball Run did get the same treatment as Stone Ocean. So I think one of the biggest concerns and issues that people had with Stone Ocean's release on Netflix was its batch releases. Now, that is fair for a lot of reasons. I personally didn't really have a problem with batch releases. The issue came in the form of Netflix's, audio towards the audience and their transparency about things going on with Stone Ocean. For example, the first part of Stone Ocean came out with the first 13 episodes all the way back in December 1st of 2021. Yeah, it aired on Netflix, and all 13 of the first episodes came out on Netflix, which was huge. We got 13 episodes, and for the most part, it was, pretty, hype. It was well received from the community. But the issue afterwards came from the fact that they never told us when the next part was coming. We had no idea when to expect the next batch, and there was just no telling when it was actually going to be releasing. So yeah, when the first first 13 episodes released on Japan and Netflix, people enjoyed them, but they had no clue when the next ones were coming out. And get this, we wouldn't get the next episodes all the way until September 1st of that same year. That is 9 months later after the first 13 episodes. Now, I don't know about y'all, a lot changes in 9 months, and a lot of people do not hold their attention span that long. And I know for me, at least after watching the first 13 episodes, I was not as excited going into the next part, especially because the next part is one of the hardest arcs to get through in all of JoJo's, I believe. It is the, what is it called? The solitary arc, whenever she's in solitary confinement in the prison still, and she fights like the dragon stand and then the meteor stand. It's not as interesting, and the fights are just kind of in my opinion. So when you have that as the second part of JoJo, accompanying that with the fact that people did not know when it was coming out and the hype is going down, it doesn't really spell as much excitement and hypeness for the rest of JoJo. Now, the part 3 of the drop would come a lot faster. However, it was still 4 months after, and all the way in December 1st of 2022, being a full year since the first batch's release. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that is very painful. And there were a lot of other issues along with its release, and there just didn't seem to be as much care and attention to it compared to other Netflix anime, which was very upsetting, especially because of how big the JoJo name is. And I just personally was very upset to see how it turned out because, like I said, part 6, reading the manga, was fantastic. Alright, so right here is what I mean about why I did not like Stone Ocean. It is because of shots like this. These are some B-roll shots that we have throughout the show and anime of Stone Ocean, and one thing that I just hate was their overuse of these grayed out outline figures. It just made the prison look so dull and so boring, and these shots just so empty compared to shots as in, like, Vencereo, or as in Diamond is Unbreakable, where there's so much colorfulness and a lot more diversity in what there is being shown. Whereas here we're just shown a prison with just blank characters and just nothing really to attract our eyesight to. I mean, it was just not as well animated as other parts, especially coming after part 5, which looked beautiful. Another thing that kind of threw me off was the CGI introduction that they utilized for some of the stands, such as Manhattan Transfer, or what's Jump Rope Jack, I believe is the stand username. I just was not personally a big fan of how they did it. Although luckily the animation budget did increase, it seems, from parts 1, 2, and 3 respectively. But overall, it just made the first few parts so dull. Just the whole prison atmosphere didn't really touch with me and didn't really, draw my attention the way the other parts did, which I think did not help its case. Now, another thing I was a little disappointed in was the 2 intros throughout the show. Now, we did get 2 intros with awesome 3D animation, similar to how it was done in Phantom Blood or Battle Tendency. However, at the same time, we only had 2 intros, and whereas other parts, such as parts 4, 5, also had 3 intros, this one did not, and it just felt a little, I guess, 2 steps backwards, if you will, for how the intros had been going and evolving. I think especially because people were not so much a fan of the second intro as well. But personally, I did enjoy the intros, but I just think that the use of 3 intros would have been a lot better, especially because we got 3 parts. I mean, I don't see why we ended up doing 2, especially with the first intro not really changing until part 24 or 25, whenever we start to transition into the third one. However, although there is a different transition with Jolene hugging her father towards the end of this trailer, or this intro, that gets added into the second one, but that's not really much of a difference. That changes like 5 or 10 seconds of the intro, whereas there is obviously a minute and 30 of the intro. So it's just a little disappointing to see small things like this all accumulate together and give us these dark, just kind of empty. It's almost like they don't care, and it just was very disappointing for someone who's a big fan of this part and wanted to see it get the full justice it deserves. Now, I think the reason that I have biggest concern for Steel Ball Run is because I think Steel Ball Run is one of the best mangas ever done. It is amazing, the pacing is really well. However, I think at times, if it is done in its batch release, it might get boring, especially for people who are not gonna stick along with these characters that mostly are just dialogue heavy until the latter of the show. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see play out. I personally think Steel Ball Run is amazing. Their characters are great, and I just would hate to see it not given the full justice that it deserves and not given the same amazing treatment as the other parts. I think that Stone Ocean did a lot of things right and a lot of things wrong. I think that hopefully Netflix can learn from this and hopefully gain a better understanding of why they shouldn't go down the same path they did. And I really don't understand why that would be so difficult. I mean, you had shows like Koni Can't Communicate or shows like Vinland Saga that are airing weekly, but yet you couldn't do the same for Stone Ocean. It just seemed a little strange and a little worrisome, especially for how big I feel JoJo has gotten recently and continues to grow. I think that part 5 was the pinnacle of how high JoJo has ever gotten, and to see 6 fall on its face so hard was very upsetting, to say the least. Now, this is coming from someone who is a big JoJo fan, and I just would hate to see part 7 get the same disservice that part 6 did. Now, I'm not saying that I hate part 6 or anything like that at all. I think it's a fun part. I love Pucci as a villain. Like I said, Weather Report's one of the best characters. Emporio is great, and just stuff like that just makes me very upset, especially because of how I just feel like at the end of the day, it comes down to not caring about attentions to detail. X-Force does a better job going in more detail explaining the subtle differences, and with him even stating that part 6 has had less, the biggest amount of changes from the manga than any other part, and I just feel like that is such a disservice to how well the manga actually is. I know there were rumors that Araki was not getting the amount of, he wasn't really enjoying the series as much as it once was, so I think that might also have something to do with it, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't as well as the other parts. And me personally, I think Steel Ball Run is one of the best parts, and I think it deserves the utmost of attention to detail of any of the parts, especially with how well or how bad, and I apologize, Stone Ocean did. I think that Steel Ball Run needs to be very successful in order for people to continue caring about JoJo's, and I would hate to see that stop. So that's pretty much why I think Steel Ball Run needs to be a success, and why I hope that Stone Ocean or Netflix can learn from Stone Ocean's mistakes and transfer what they've learned into Steel Ball Run and make it just weekly again. That would be incredible. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all did enjoy this video. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel, the Otaku Brothers Podcast. We're about to hit 60 subs. See, I mean, you got to just show us some love, right? But yeah, anyways, guys, like I said, back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Me and Ben were gone for 3 weeks, as you could see. We were gone. We had a lot of finals, a lot of school stuff finishing up, but now we're both on summertime. Ben is still over there, so I'm not going to be able to do in-person stuff with him as often, but we are planning on doing 1 or 2 special things in person. But yeah, like I said, if you guys want to see more short videos like this, just doing my opinions on stuff, I'm still getting better at it. I'm really new to this sort of stuff. But yeah, if you guys want to see more shit like this, make sure to, subscribe, give us some love, and comment down below what y'all would like to talk about. If you guys are watching Demon Slayer, Mashle, Hell's Paradise, it's all been great. It's all been good. So go check it out if you haven't, and we'll be back hopefully Monday or Tuesday with our, 60th episode. It's going to be a banger. So without further ado, love you guys. Peace out. Arrivederci.